What's up, y'all? How we doing? I don't know if y'all can hear my toka gecko in the back, but that's what that sound is. Kind of like a little rubber ball. There you go. He goes, toke. Yeah. So, I'm making this video as like kind of an update. As to my bits are flying out of my head. But I'm making this video as an update to the predicament that I've been going through and kind of where my understanding's at. I'm trying to do it in a non-super personal way. It's relating to this idea of a thing called narcissism. And like how it works. At least how I've come to understand that it works, because I don't know how it works. I know how I've come to understand how it works. Yeah. Yeah, this is how understanding works within everybody. None of us know absolute truth, right? But, yeah. So, how I've come to understand it is it's basically like there's two different, just like everything else, there's the energetic version of it, and then there's the physical version of it. So like a chakra, the idea of a chakra is it's not like a different thing than the physical thing. So like a throat chakra is not a separate like thing than your throat. It is the energy making a specific movement, which is creating in another condensation level of consciousness the phenomenon of the physical throat that you have. And so if chakras get swapped out, you'll see the physical actual shape of your throat change too. They can still move, but at least I've observed this happening. So yeah, it is one and the same. So like the energetic thing is the physical thing, just at two different levels of it goes from vapor to water to ice. It goes from consciousness or vibration to energy or water to ice, which is matter. And they're not different. They're not different at all. And so, in fact, they're happening all at once. It's not like it goes from energy and then it becomes matter. It is simultaneously. It is simultaneously water and ice. Because it's always right here, right now, in the present moment. Yeah? And so we all exist on every dimensional perspective simultaneously at the same time. And yeah. And so there is the way that narcissism looks energetically and the way that it looks physically. And these two things are not different. They're one and the same. But I was having a lot of issue making the connection to what I was experiencing and seeing in multidimensional reality. I was having a whole lot of trouble finding the way that it applied to the third dimension, to matter, and to, behaviors, actions, surroundings and environments, things like this. I was not making these connections. It wasn't even like I was, it was a combination of being gaslit constantly for a very long time. Being gaslit constantly, and genuinely it was just like extremely confusing because I didn't know that narcissism was this. I didn't know that this is what it was like doing on an energetic level. I thought it was some other thing, and that it wasn't just something that I had been dealing with and experiencing for my entire fucking life. Yeah. Something that I've been living with and dealing with my entire life, in which I kind of learned how to, deal with and like heal from and like handle and navigate. And I had to conceptualize because I had gone through a bit of a consciousness expansion while I was away at Kent, and I didn't understand, I guess, what I was seeing from that level of consciousness, I guess, because when I was younger, I didn't have access to that level of consciousness, or at least I wasn't tuning into it, and I think a part of me knew that this was happening the whole time, but I just wasn't in contact with that part, maybe. And when I came here, it was like it was all happening, and I wasn't able to, like, the line of communication between all of my parts was not there. Like, and so it was very hard to communicate to my parts like what was going on at all. And it was all kind of just like happening. And I was trying to figure it out. I was trying to figure it out for a long time, and it was really hard, and it's still been, I'm still struggling with this, to find a way to learn things about what's going on and to have them stick. It's like I wake up the next day and my memory is almost wiped. It's like close. It's buried under fog. And so the things that I've learned about it, like yesterday and the day before, each day, every time I make progress, it's like it gets kind of pulled back a little bit and buried under fog. It makes it very hard to tell kind of what's going on. It's a nasty thing. So basically, I say all this to get to the point. How I've experienced the phenomenon of narcissism is this is essentially how it works. So the way that the narcissist will essentially start digging at you in some kind of way, trying to control you, trying to bring you down in some kind of way, trying to put you below them, trying to break down your boundaries to get in. It doesn't even have to be negatively. Like at first, if it's a dating scenario, for example, which this is not. If this is, if it was a dating scenario, it's not. If it was a dating scenario, they're gonna first try and get in and cross your boundaries by like being really nice to you, by convincing you that they're on your side, by convincing you that you can trust them and you can tell them anything and all this. But the thing you'll start to notice is the consistency of that energy. You'll stop feeling it from them after a while. Like they won't bring that to you anymore. They won't. That person that they used to convince you to trust them, after a little while, it will not be the person that you're dealing with after just a little bit. And that person will all of a sudden become very okay once you've let them in. They'll start being okay with doing anything to you, treating you any kind of way. They'll start treating you like you're a child, or like you're stupid, or like you're crazy. They'll start calling you insane. They'll tell you that you don't know what reality is. They'll tell you that you can't make any changes and that nothing that's happened to you in your past is real. And they'll do all of these things because what they want you to do is to stay lost in fog. They want you to be lost in fog and to not know what's going on and to not claim any of your own power because they want it. Because they want it. And what they do, once they get you to open up a boundary, they tie a little hook. They'll pop their little needle in through the back of your atlas or through your third eye or through your nose. Any portal into your body will work. It just it depends on the type of dig or the way that they cross your boundary. So if it's something about your path, they can use your ankles. If it's something about your ancestry, they can use your knees. Any of them. If it's something that hurts your heart, they can go in through the heart. Like, yeah. I'm thinking this is how it works. Whichever part of you that the boundary gets broken down in becomes the gateway. And things like the atlas in the back of the head is a massive, I call it the garage door. Call it the fucking garage door, dude. There's the front door and then the garage door. I don't know, like, front door, garage door. It's a giant door, and it has you can lift it up and close it. And if you're around narcissistic people, you might want to pull it up and keep it closed. However, if you're trying to expand your consciousness during meditation or whatever, it becomes a habit, it becomes tempting to go all the way out the back and to make the shape of the torus and stuff like that. I'm starting to wonder if the only reason I think that you have to go all the way out in the back is because of what my conditioning has been telling me. I'm wondering, because I'm not an expert on meditation, I'm just into it. And yeah, and it can be quite hard to keep that door closed when you're around narcissistic people. And notice that needle that I'm talking about basically slides in through that door, and it'll start to expand, and it'll start to pop all your boundaries down. And once they have your boundaries popped down, they start to use that needle. It's like, you can think of it as like a, I don't know, like a, I want to say scorpion tail, but scorpion tails inject. It siphons. It siphons. And once it gets inside of you and expands, it'll start siphoning away at your chi and at your willpower and your emotional energy. And so the further along that process that it gets, the more kind of broken down you are, and the less you're able to like resist it. And it can get so extreme to the point where you become like a puppet, where you don't even have thoughts of your own. You're not even like a person anymore, and you're not controlling your own actions. Like you just feel like you're getting moved around. Like there's one time when my mom was making me like dance, like teeter-totter on my feet like a puppet and shit like that, and it's really disturbing. Some Coraline shit, straight up. But yeah, like straight up, it can get bad. And I want to like believe, like I want to think about myself. I don't know if this is the case, but I want to think that I'm not the narcissist and that this is something that's been like happening to me. However, I'm subject to my conditioning, and I did grow up in this environment, so like it's very possible that I could be too. I'm really hoping that that's not the case, and if it is, then I intend to do all of the healing steps to make that not the case, if I can. I've been in therapy for a year, but it takes a long time to undo conditioning, of course. So yeah, I don't know if it's me, I don't know if it's them, but my instinct is telling me that it's not me. My instinct is telling me that. So I don't know, but this haze, this uncertainty, is a direct result of self-gaslighting that will occur as a result of the narcissist bits being on your inside and your bits being on their inside, essentially. Because it's supposed to create a distinct confusion. Not a distinct confusion, but it's supposed to create a confusion between where your parts are supposed to go and where their parts are. It's supposed to be confusing whether or not it's you up inside you or if it's something from them. That's what they want, right? That's what they want, because if you can clearly see where you are, like if you can feel where you are and feel bits of you on the inside that feel like kind of like lumps, like they feel like they don't mesh with the rest of the system. Once the gaslighting is gone, which by the way, just for anybody that's going through this, there's a mudra that you can do, that hand position, and I've noticed that this one, I think it's for move. I think it's called Vairana. It's not Vairagya. It's not detachment. It's some kind of energetic material that occurs on the inside of the body. It's mostly found in the arms, I guess, from what I read. But it seems to be that gaslighting, the phenomenon, the gaslight shit on the inside is kind of made of the same material, and so doing this kind of helps to clear it out of the body. It like sends it out. If you kind of concentrate on the fogginess on the inside on that mudra and imagine it like flowing through your arms and out your body, like it seems to be quite effective at it. Something I've noticed. So yeah, so the goal of it, from their point of view, from the narcissistic person's point of view, I say I'm not trying to accuse anybody, because my family's drama is my business. Yeah, I'm not trying to accuse anybody. However, yeah, because it's on here. Shit. But yeah, like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, I'm not. This is just what I've experienced. Like, yeah, I can feel shit up inside of me. Like, yeah, it's bizarre. What was I even talking about? I was gonna say something, and like, yeah. What they want is to put them in you and to take you from you. Is basically what they want. It's like an exchange. It's like a swapsies. And this kind of came, like, I thought I was fucking crazy. I thought I was completely fucking crazy for the longest time, because I was experiencing this, like, I was seeing it, and I could, like, feel it happening, and I could feel the thing that was in me whenever one of these swaps would happen would be something that did not feel like it was part of me. It'd be something that's, like, very put downy and, like, negative, and it just didn't feel like it was part of my energy. Whatever the new thing was, if it was the third eye, if it was the third eye, then it would feel like foggy, and it would feel very hard to flip my attention on the inside, and it would feel like it's not thinking thoughts or seeing the world in the same way that I remember myself feeling, like at the same depth. It's hard to put this into words, but I feel like I'm pretty dang familiar with my chakras at this point, or at least I was. I was. And, you know, I've been going through this my whole life, so it's hard to know exactly, like, which chakras I've been working with for what amount of time, but the way I've been trying to, like, mitigate this lack of concrete knowledge of myself due to so many ongoing years of it is basically by being like, the chakras that are tied to my DNA. I basically have to say the ones that are tied to my DNA, because anything about them at this point, like, it's become so foggy. Like, I remember being able to do things with them before, but yeah, I've become so lost in self-doubt at this point. Yeah, the ones that are tied to my DNA, and luckily I'm adopted, so that works. Like, luckily, because otherwise, like, I just don't know. If you never got the opportunity to get to know yourself and to know if it's you or not, like, it's gonna be hard either way. First of all, of course, it's gonna be hard either way to figure it out. But yeah, there might be people who go their whole lives without even being in their own body and not know it. It's fucking tragic to think about, but it very well could be the case. There's people that go their whole lives without being in their own body, that never get to live their life, and they don't even know. And I'm very grateful that I've been given this kind of insight from the universe, I guess, because I don't want to be one of those people. I want to live my own life, and I want to have my bits in my body, and to not be harboring around like someone else's garbage. Like, I want to live my own life, and to get to know myself, and to, like, follow my dreams and shit. And yeah. Yeah, this shit is pernicious, man. And it's like, I can't judge the people, like, any narcissistic person. I very well could be one, right? So I can't judge. I'm not judging the person. You can judge action. Like, you could say an action is reprehensible, but that's not to say that the person is, because the person is a living thing. It's the self. Another incarnation of the self, just as I am. And that self is divine. That self is the creator of the whole universe. The one that's in all of us. The one that's not individual. Yeah. The center of all of our awarenesses is that being. Not me. I can feel something in me doing this. Not me, this body soul. The thing that is living the body soul's life. Like, watching it happen. That part. And it's the same part that's in all of us. Operating from different perspectives. I'm, like, arguing with this thing. Like, because it doesn't know about the self, bro. Okay. Yeah. That's the unity beneath the complexity. It's a beautiful thing. But yeah. That one self that is operating from different perspectives in each one of our bodies, yeah, connected through the web of consciousness, drops of the ocean, and each drop is indeed individual and unique, cut from the same cloth and made out of the same material as the ocean, so we're all cut from the same cloth and of the same worth, but we're all our own drops. Separate. Connected. Not separate. Connected, but unique. Connected, but unique. It's like a leaf is to a tree. Is the leaf the tree? Yes. But is each leaf its own leaf? Yes. Connected through a stem. Yes. Which is kind of a double, like, because they... Yeah, kind of. That stem, though, is, like, not the thing that pokes in through the back of your head like that. It's your, like, energetic roots that connect you to the earth through your root chakra. That's, like, the stem to the leaf that I'm talking about. And that center, that point in the middle, that atomic consciousness, is the like creator of that tree. But the tree that connects us is like through the roots and through our hearts. It's different. It's different. It's not the thing that plows in through the back of your head. Because consciousness usually comes in up here and it doesn't hurt. Consciousness doesn't fucking hurt. When it comes inside your body, yeah, the feelings that it might feel inside the body might be painful feelings, but the process of consciousness coming inside the body is not a painful thing. It just kind of goes inside. When one of these things go inside, it feels painful. It feels like something shoving into you. Like it feels like a stake getting driven in between your... It's different. I know somebody who might not have any personal first-hand experience with what I'm talking about might not know, okay? But it feels different. It feels extremely different. Once those things get inside of you, it's like, when consciousness is inside of you, you can hold yourself up better. When those things get up inside of you, you start being able to feel worse. Like, not feel negatively, not feeling negative emotion. Your ability to feel becomes worse. And it eventually gets fuzzed out and numbed out to the point where you can't feel. It's different. I'm not talking about feeling a negative emotion. I mean your ability to feel at all. Because that comes from perception, the acumen. Not the acumen. No, yeah. The discerner, the one in the middle, the point it all comes back to, that expands into the whole. Yeah. See, look at this. It's impossible to live when your insides do this. Like, every single one of your thoughts, like, it's not even working out the thought. It's just like being like, yeah. I know there's the me that has experienced this and knows what the fuck I'm trying to say, and then there's the thing that steps in and tells me, well, are you sure? Like, yeah. And the one that's all the way in the back is the one that I'm talking from. It's observation. I'm talking about what I've observed. So yeah, this is the type of stuff that narcissistic abuse will do to you. This is what it'll do to you, right? And yeah. And so I'm trying to figure out a way to put myself back together, and if I'm doing this too, I want to figure out how the fuck I can stop doing it then. Because I'm not trying to hurt a single person. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm trying to do no harm in this life. And so I'll be like, yeah. I don't know what I've done in my past. I can only say how far as my memory goes at the moment. I don't know what my karma is. I don't know if I'm paying off some massive karmic debt. Maybe. I haven't been told this, though. I've been told it might be the case, but I haven't been shown the thing that I did last life or anything like that. So, I really don't know. But, regardless, I do not want to hurt anybody. I do not want to be a narcissist. I do not want to continue any narcissistic behavior. I do not want to take anybody else's energy. I do not want to be an energy vampire. I do not want to be a leech. I do not want to be a parasite. I do not want to be a spider on the web of consciousness which wraps other people up and then drains them of their juice and then leaves them fucking in a cast. All fucking sucked dry and shit. With my cold fucking feet and my cold hands. Yeah. And the narcissist, remember though, the narcissist that does this wants you, the victim, to think that you are the one doing it to yourself. And that you must stay like that. You must stay with their bits on the inside, and you must stay, like, stuck. It's the thing that wants you to not investigate it, to not think about it, to not think for yourself, to have no beliefs, to have no ego, like, that, to have no boundaries. That's the voice of it. It wants you to be not an individual, to not be in your own personal power, to not be able to make your own decisions. That's what it wants, because it's all about power and control. which is the opposite of spirituality. Because spirituality is about breathing calmly and awareness. Power and control is the opposite of spirituality. It is exactly what narcissism is all about, though. So, yeah. If you're listening to a voice in you that's trying to control you, or trying to tell you to not think, or you have to think one way about it, or you can't update your understanding, or telling you that you can't believe certain things, or telling you that you can't trust your perception, or if it's constantly telling you, well, maybe that didn't happen, well, maybe, well, I don't know, well, it could have been. That is the gaslighting. It's the gaslighting. Trust your perception. You don't have to trust any conclusion that you've come to about things, because there's always could be wrong. You don't have to trust any value judgment. You don't have to trust these things, but trust what you've seen. Trust what you've seen. Not necessarily the conclusions you've come to about what you've seen, but trust what you've seen. Trust your perception. Trust consciousness. Trust consciousness. Put faith in consciousness. Nothing can take that away. Everything's made out of consciousness, so it's always there for you to tap into. Okay? It's always there for you to tap into, because there's nothing that exists that is not made out of it. And that is what we all are, fundamentally. And so we can never become disconnected from it. You can only be gaslit out of thinking that you can connect to it. But all of us can become conscious. You need only decide to. Put your faith in that, in your ability to perceive reality. You have to have faith in yourself to be able to perceive reality. That's the way out of it. To stick to what you've seen and stick to what you've known. No. To stick to what you see and to what you know presently. In the present moment. And it's kind of cool. The light of consciousness, when it comes to like energy vampires, and when it comes to like dark forces on the inside and shit like that, even if they seem super strong, like the light of consciousness like vaporizes them instantly. It doesn't take willpower. It doesn't take coercive control. Consciousness vaporizes that shit instantly on the inside. So, it seems to be the solution. However, like I said, if you have these types of things, the flying monkeys or whatever you want to call them, floating around in your energetic field still, what they'll do is they like to latch on to the top of my head, in my case. They like latch on back here, and they like poke in. I don't know if this is every case, but yeah, even if you're physically distanced from the relationship, you might still have them around you. And so it can be like, you have to basically, in order to get those to not be in your energetic field, I would assume, first of all, like energy healing and cleaning your energy and doing things like that can help a lot. And two, I guess, like noticing it, like feeling for anything in the attic there. I'm still getting through it, so like I can't say, but like I'm trying to find a way that there's definitely a way to make it so that they aren't constantly trying to get in, even if you're not physically around them. There's a way. Like I don't think any of those things can stay stuck on you forever. I would assume that if it's like how it works in other areas of nature, like if a leech is on you or trying to get in you, if it can't feed for long enough, you know what I mean? It'll eventually sputter out and shrivel away. So I guess like just not giving it what it wants, whatever it wants you to do, or whatever it wants you to. Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing that the way to get it out of your energy is to just starve it, basically. To starve out that thing. And yeah, the whole thing is just so confusing, and it takes quite a toll on like your ability to like do things, and your ability to feel like your fucking self, like to have your own thoughts and your own emotions and your own feelings about things, and to express creatively, and to, you know, do things that you want to do and things that you love. It makes it really hard to live life, but regardless, complaining doesn't solve any of that. It is my karma, and I'm not going to consider myself to be a victim. This is the key. Don't consider yourself to be a victim. Because it makes you feel weak. It makes you feel stuck. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't ever, it's always a choice whether or not you label yourself as one thing or another. So, not a victim. Not a victim. And yeah, we working on it. I don't know. I'm really curious to find out, I guess, like, once I can get my bits put back together and once this is all sorted out, I'm really curious who I'm going to end up being. Because I just don't know. I just don't know. It's been going on for so long that at most I've had a few months at a stretch to spend with myself. Like, put together. And even then, I don't think it was all the way. So, I'm curious. I'm fucking curious. Time will tell. Namaste, bye. Hope I was coherent in any kind of way. Those are 2 owl hoots, and it's probably a good time. And, yeah. Namaste, y'all. Praying for everybody. Praying for everybody up in here. Namaste.